Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. It's early April of 2022, and the topic I want to talk to you about now is that it's really important to build your Forex trading skills now while you have time. And let me tell you why. You usually have a cup of coffee. This is a cup of tea. I just got out of the emergency room a couple of days ago with a severe case of gastroenteritis. And though there's an infection, it just runs its course, it's knocked me down for 3 days. It's a lot of pain. So I'm used to this. I'm 72 years old, so I'm used to these types of things happening that are like come to realization moments where you got to value your life and the things that you do with the time that you have. But particularly in this case, because I sat in the emergency room for about 3 hours and before they got me into the hall bed and never got me into a room because they were able to take care of me before that. But I did sit in the ER waiting room for quite a while. And there was a guy in there, he was probably in his early 40s, and he was in there with a pretty bad injury to his hand. And he's probably done with his job. We found out subsequently what that job was, and it was going to require the use of the hand. And he'd got it caught in some machinery. And you have to wonder, what other skills does this guy have at 40? What's his family situation, his financial situation? What's he going to do? Well, that's kind of a dramatic thing to talk about. But I think it's important for those of you who are rabidly following my channel, who are between the ages of 21 and 34, which is that critical group that I talk with. And then there are the outliers out there, the older folks that think I have something to say. I'm 72 years old. I got a lot to say. A lot of experience. Bachelor's in physics, 33-year career as a senior software engineer doing enterprise business applications development, 40-year career as a real estate investor, 50 years in the martial arts. I've been around the block. So I know what the time value of money is. That's a video that I just produced the other day. You might want to take a look at that. Because I talk about the things that appreciate in value and the money goes up, but there's also a value in the money that can go down, it can decay. And what happens as a corollary to that video when you're no longer able to do the job that you're using to support yourself? And if you're like many folks, that support doesn't provide an abundance of discretionary income above basic bills, living paycheck to paycheck. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because we certainly see enough folks live paycheck to paycheck through their lives. They pick up minimal Social Security, minimal savings or whatever, and they can afford a basic apartment, and they go through life fine. It all works out fine, regardless of your income level and all that stuff. It all works out fine. But what if you want more? What do? You have to work harder at your job if you don't have a profession, a skilled profession, so that your overtime builds your retirement money, and that increases your Social Security. If you are making a lot of money, you're saving that and you're investing it and trying to do whatever it is that you can. But all of those investments that you're going to make, unless you do real estate yourself like I did, which I wouldn't suggest that you do, but all the other investments that you're doing, what are you going to do? You're going to buy mutual funds on your own? You can buy an index fund. You're buying the average. The averages go up and they go down. Would you want to own the Dow Jones average with it going down 200 points a day? So the question becomes, you need an awful lot of discretionary money to spread it out among a lot of different crapshoot things to make sure that hopefully some of those things 10, 20x in the 20 or 30 year period of time that you've got 20x with a minimal 6% increase or maybe an 8% increase when the times are better. In an index fund should get you 4 to 6% right now today, in today's market, 8% maybe. Depends on the index fund. Mutual funds, you got to really watch those because of the high fees that they charge on a yearly basis, and most of those fees are buried in the small print. If you don't know how to read the small print, you're getting clipped out of, it could be 0.75% more than what they're telling you that you're getting clipped on. So what are you supposed to do? Currency trading is a low entry business that you can get into because it doesn't cost you much money in relationship to trying to open a McDonald's franchise, for example. I don't even know what those would go for. Even if you're open to want to do what I spent 50 years in the martial arts. If I wanted to open a karate studio right now, do you think I'd be able to do that for $5,000? I don't think so. First month and last month's rent up front, security deposit, damage deposits, electricity, utilities, hookups, furniture. You're not going to start that business for short money. No business. You're going to start for short money. You can get into trading. Well, you could trade stocks or options or commodities or old tires. Doesn't make any difference what you trade. Old cars. On my website, on the currency trading page, that's longwoodcurrencytrading.com, I list 7 reasons why I think the currency markets are far better and safer and can be more profitable than any of the other asset classes that you could learn about and invest your money in. It is the most complicated and difficult, however, because you are dealing with some of the smartest people in the world. You're not dealing with really smart people that trade stocks or buy and sell stocks. They don't know any more than you do. The big hedge funds are taking up most of that market. But you still really have to know what you're doing. You have 6,000 or 8,000 stocks over the world that you could select, and then all the mutual funds and all the other stuff to pick parts of that. Do you have the time or the ability to study that and learn that? Because it is so diverse. You still need time to learn the currency markets. And I'll just tell you this right now up front. I don't know if you can do it on your own unless you have a lot of money that you can kiss off while you learn how to trade. If you do it the way that I suggest you to do it, then you can get away very short money and start trading on a mini account or a couple of mini accounts and do fine, and then gradually build your account up from there. But if you're trying to learn it the way most folks are trying to teach currency trading, you're going to run into a lot of problems. The first problem is most of these guys don't know how to teach. Second problem is they rely on teaching indicators and news and all the other shit that's out there because they don't know really what made them a success. It wasn't indicators and it wasn't news. But there are some very simple guidelines that you can use in order to participate in the currency market. But you have to be able to step back from the market as a whole and figure out what those are. And it's very difficult for you to do that on your own. That's why there's so many people out there that are trying to convince you to pay them money to have them teach you. I don't want you to pay me money because I don't want to take the time at any price unless you're really, really, really serious. And then you do have to pay a lot of money. But I don't want to deal with people that just think you're going to learn a couple of rules of the magic super juju sauce and boom, you're going to be successful. Doesn't quite work that way. It takes time and you have to be willing to work. And there are not very many people out there that are willing to do either one of those. So all I can do on this video channel is to provide you core principles that you need to think about when you're trying to teach yourself how to do this trading stuff. And I'm happy to communicate with you. I'm communicating with quite a few people right now with email. None of them are paying me any money. I'm happy to do that as long as I don't get too many people with emails, and then I have to cut back. Take advantage of it now while I have time. And what I tell everybody is send me an email expressing your interest, little basic things about you, and I'll determine if I think me sending you what I call a student questionnaire form would be helpful for you. Because there's about 18 questions on that form. You know, how long have you traded? Do you do swing trading? You position? Do you stage in and out? What's your risk tolerance? You know, it's questions like that. So I can get a better feeling for where you're at, what your background is, and where your problems are. And then we do a video chat or just communicate through email. And I say, look, this is what I think. This is what I see. And hopefully I can resolve the issue for you in just that. And then it doesn't take either one of us any time to do anything, because then you've got some plan that you can go off and try to execute. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be successful with a 15-minute video chat, but you know, it puts you on the right track. If you think that you need more, well, then you're going to have to invest some money and you're going to have to invest some time in order to do that. And you need to be very careful about who you choose in order to do that with. And it comes down to a matter of trust. And so when we discuss the options for trading, I'll be very upfront with you about what I believe the trading process should be like. Look, I've taught martial arts for 50 years. I sort of know how to teach. I sort of know how to break things down into their component parts. I've taught computer programming, business applications programming, and enterprise Java. I've taught that to people. I think I know how to teach. And so I can explain what that process would be like for you and what the cost is, and then you got to decide whether I'm the person that can help you and whether the price is going to be available for you. I don't know. What are you going to do? You get pinched for a DWI. You're going to go into your attorney and he wants, $350, $400 to defend you, and you're going to try to cheat him down to $150 an hour. Is that what you're going to try to do? It doesn't work that way with me. Okay. If you want to work, it's going to be hard work, and I'm going to be on you just like I would be on a martial arts student. And that's tough. You can talk to any of my martial arts students, and some of them have been with me 20, 30, 40 years. I got a guy who just went to dinner with the other night, been with me celebrating his 41st year as my student. So I know what I'm doing, and I can help you through these videos if you watch enough of them. There's 190 of them. There's more than 190 actually at this time in April 7th of 2022 is when I'm releasing this video. Or am I going to do this 7th? No, I'll probably do this the following week on the following Tuesday. So it'll be what, 7, 8? About the 12th, I guess, is when this video will go out. But the purpose of the video is to impress upon you, if you're sitting there diddling around with your $2,000 account trying to figure out what to do, or you're, God forbid, you're in a simulated account thinking you're learning how to trade, you need to get on with things, regardless of what your age is. If you're in the 21 to 34-year-old group, you've got the whale by the tail. Somebody work with you, make all your mistakes up front, lose your money, argue with the person, and you're going to spend 2 or 3 years farting around, and then maybe you'll get it. 90% of the traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days. So those are the folks that don't go out and seek help. Those are the folks that read books and think they can figure it out from the book. Those are the folks that are watching people trading on these videos and listening to what they're saying about indicators and backtracking patterns and Fibonacci spiral of death pattern, as Rob Booker would put it. And it's all bullshit. It's bullshit. I hate to tell you, but it's bullshit. And you're wasting your time. So you got to figure out a better plan. You got to figure out a better way. And you got to do it now. Not 6 weeks from now, when you're going to have perhaps a serious accident or an infection like this that takes you offline for a week and you're hourly paid You need to invest the time and the money now to learn currency trading. Why are you currency trading? Because you believe in it, because you think you can make money at it. Well, thinking you're making money at it and actually having a plan that will take you there to be a success making money are two totally different things. You can sit there and scratch your ass and proclaim all the trading lore that you've learned and all the other horse shit that you think you know, but what are your trading results? If your trading results aren't any good, then your education hasn't been any good, and you need to change the way that you think in order to become the person that you want to become, because thoughts are things. And you can't just stand in front of a mirror and go, oh, I'm a successful currency trader, I'm a successful currency trader. That just makes you a big, again, loser. That's what that makes it. Big loser. You have to have structure. And believe me, the structure is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. But you got to start. And if you're 50 years old and you've been lucky so far and your job has gone through, you're going to start running into job discrimination pretty soon unless you work for yourself. It's a fact. As a software engineer, and a pretty good one with business applications development, at age 53 or so, I started to notice age discrimination. In fact, I had a recruiter who was very familiar with one of the places that I sent my resume through him into, and he said they're not going to look at your resume because of your age. And I know for a fact there are many companies out there, and that's for software engineering. Well, what are you going to do if you're working on the road crew with the city? Yeah, it's a lot of fun to be lugging the jackhammer around, coming home and sweaty and having a few beers, and you're the big macho man. What happens when you're 55 and you got arthritis in your fingers, or your back hurts you? What are you going to do then? How are you going to make any money? You work for the city for 8 years, you're going to get a pension with that? No, I don't think so. You're going to go work at or waiting tables? What are you going to do? What skills do you have? When you are well and happy and have some money, that's the time that you invest in yourself to do something else in case plan A doesn't work out for you, because trust me, at some point plan A is going to end in one way or another, or it's going to seriously deteriorate. I'm just telling you, as someone who's 72 years old and has been through this, taught martial arts for 50 years to thousands of people of all ages and watched them go through their life. My brother was 20 years older. He died a couple of years ago. He was 20 years older than I was. So I was able to watch him grow through his career. My folks retired when I went into college, and I watched how their retirement was able to progress. I know this stuff. I've taught financial awareness and readiness for 40 years. I understand this stuff, and I can't find a better vehicle than the currency market. And remember, I did 40 years in real estate, and I've got plenty of money. I retired a millionaire with my real estate investment. I could go in there and buy buildings, or when the crash comes, because at this particular time we know that there's going to be a downturn. Just sit there and wait and scoop up depressed properties when they come out. I'm not going to buy a thing. I'm not doing real estate at all, because I don't have the time for that. I'm 72. I don't want to put up with the aggravation of it. And even if I was 35, I wouldn't want the aggravation of it. Why would you want that aggravation? Even if you have a management company that manages all your real estate, and you have to have millions of dollars of real estate to warrant having a management company, you still own it. You're still responsible. I had a building one time. Some dumbass had a grill going, and the ember escaped from the grill and fell on the deck where he was and started to smolder. And the dumbass went in and called the fire department, threw a bucket of water on the thing, and it was out. The fire department comes, and they said, well, when the fire department is called, we got to bring in the building inspector. That whole thing well, these railings aren't quite right, and these stairs need blah, 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 blah. Well, this apartment doesn't have smoke detectors here. Oh, and this apartment doesn't have smoke detectors in every room. Blah, 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 and on and on and on. You know how much that ember of smoke cost me? $6,500. Yeah. So, and literally weeks of shit back and forth with the building inspector. Well, this has got to be done by this date or you're going to get fined. This has got to be done. Then you got to get the contractors out there, and the guy says, I don't have time to do it. Is that what you want to do? Is that how you want to spend your life? Maybe if you're 30 or 40 years old, maybe that's exciting for you. You want to do that. I love it. Good. Go. Got to have a lot of money to get into it. If you don't have a couple $100,000, you shouldn't even be thinking about it at this point with the way the prices are. If you're 50 years old, is that something you want to introduce yourself to? You want to buy a duplex and rent out half of it? What happens when the guy goes, fuck you, I don't want to pay you? What are you going to do now? The only control that you have over your life is the things that you do for yourself. And currency trading is one of them. So if you're working on this stuff now, do not do it as a part-time hobby. Get on a program and find out whether you've got the skill to do this thing or not. And if you do like it and you do want to have that skill, get the skill now, because you do not know when you're going to need that skill to provide basic living expenses. I got to drink tea for the next 3 days because of this infection. I can't drink my coffee. Then that's just a mild thing and a mild issue. But it doesn't take much to complicate that to the next step. Listen to what I'm telling you. I think I know what I'm talking about. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.